Hello, everyone. So today I'm gonna walk through a site that will help you to learn how to code in many different languages. So let's just get into it. So the website is called pipepup.com. So the reason why I named this site PipeUp is because I've initially focused on Python, so that's why. So right now it has over 300 problems and five languages that it supports. So the languages are C++, C Sharp, Java, JavaScript, and then finally Python. Now, following Python would be the best in here because all the solutions that are available are all in Python, but there are like many of them have JavaScript solutions and Java solutions, but for the rest, it's not there yet, but we will add those solutions pretty soon. So, the aim of this site is to learn to code by solving many problems. Basically, like you learn one topic through programming and then you just repeat that topic. That's the main idea. So if you are just learning, I would suggest go through the roadmap, click the roadmap, and then it will just teach you, okay, so here are the different topics that I can learn, and then just start from the bottom and then go way down. And you can follow this, or you can just go to the paths, and then it will show you all the different paths that it has. So it has like what, I'm not sure how much is this, 12, 14 paths, but some of them are empty. So just look at the roadmap and then click on the path that you want to solve. So let's just go through the first path, learning the basics. So the learning the basics starts off like very simple. It just starts off with hello world, which is basically like print statement, right? And then it goes on to how to use Python as a calculator. You can do some maths in the calculator, right? And then it will teach you how to do like, okay, see here's like a variable declaration and then how to use variables and stuff like that. And then it goes on teaching if-else statements. If you didn't learn about this yet, you will soon. This is just basically, oh, if this condition meets, then do this, otherwise do that, like branching out your logic, right? And then we go on to type conversions. So we will learn about types in Python. Like type is really important in all the programming languages. So we have number types, floating point types, string types, and stuff like that. And then we go on to learning loops. So loops is also like a very pivotal topic in all the programming languages. So after you finish these more than 60 problems, then you'll be finished learning the basics, basically. So let's just go to the first problem. So the first problem, it asks you to just print the prompt. So we can just choose whatever language in here. So let's just choose Python. And then it's just going to show, okay, this is my very first code, right? So you can do print hello world, and then you can run it. Now, if you run it, you'll see the print output in here. So if you don't know about the inputs or outputs, don't worry about it too much right now. But the only thing that you should focus on is the print output after you're running it. Now, if this font is too small, we can change the font to like maybe 14, and then you can change the theme, but I would just stick with the dark theme because it suits the theme of the site. So, and then now the font size is a little bit bigger. Now, is there anything else? Oh yeah, right. So if you want to actually submit this code, you click on submit. But the thing is, you have to log in first. You can click submit, but it will just say you have to log in. So let's just log in, right? So log in. And then you can use your school account, which is just a Google account, right? You can use that, or you can just register a new account using your own custom email and stuff like that. So if it's easier for you to log in with Google, just do that. Otherwise, just log in. Right, so I'm logged in. And then now what I do is I can submit the code right now. So let's just click submit. Nice. Okay, so I've successfully solved the problem. So let's just try to do like different inputs, right? A different thing, and see if that works. Okay, it doesn't because it doesn't match my print with the expected print, right? So it has to be like hello world. And also it's case sensitive, right? So you can't just say W with a lowercase, so it will fail. All right, so let's just fix that and then submit. Now it works. Okay. Let's just dig deeper into this. So you wouldn't see these two icons. This is just for admins. So, but you can go to discussion to, see other people's codes, what they have to say, or if you have another good solution, you can post it here. Or, if you like a solution, press like and reply, whatever. Those are all supported. And one thing to note is if you are posting solutions, right? So it is Markdown supported. So I would suggest just dragging this down, and then whenever you're trying to write code, I would just put Python in here like so, and then you copy paste your code, right? So let's just copy this code to here, and then after this, you can just comment it. So the reason why I do this is because, so let's just try without the Python, right? So let's just do the triple backticks and then just the code. And then if I comment this, it just gives me white text, right? So if you put Python, it will syntax highlighter for you. So I would suggest using the triple backticks as a markdown code, right? So just paste every code that you have in there. And also you can just combine your code with your markdown, right? So let's just say Python, then my code, and then you can see, okay, here is my solution, and then you just comment that. Oops, that didn't work. Let me try what happened here. Oh, okay, it's because of this. Yeah, I guess you just needed like a triple space in there, so it worked. Okay, let's just delete these comments for now. I just delete them because they're my comments, right? So yeah, I would suggest to do that. And then if you are trying to write JavaScript code, you could just put JS and then write your JavaScript code. And then if it's Java, then do Java. If it's C++, it's CPP. And if it's C Sharp, then it's C Sharp, like that. So those are the supported languages that we have currently. So if you can just click here, right, we have 5 languages that it supports. All right, so that's about the discussion. And then let's go to the solution. Now, the solution tab is pretty interesting. So I tried to write the solution as much as detail as possible. And I try to present as many solutions as possible also, like all the things that, beginners would do. And then I would point out their mistakes and stuff like that. And then you can see all the other solutions in here as well. So default is Python, then you can just choose JavaScript, and then in JavaScript you will, okay, this is my solution, and then the text is just pretty detailed as well. And the Java solution, yeah, it's just simple that. C Sharp, I don't think I have that here. C++ is also missing, so I will add these later, but I think Python and JavaScript should mostly be there, but Python is 100% there. That's guaranteed. So that's that. Now, the neat thing about this is you can actually choose your solution and then explain it with ChatGPT. So let's just try to do that, right? So it will explain this official solution, what it's doing. So if this written text is missing or it's too complicated, then you can just ask ChatGPT to explain it for you. Now you can do this, and then it just says, okay, the code defines a function called my first code, which is which blah blah blah, and then it will explain the code for you, and then you can just toggle it again, and then it will there's no code for him to explain. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. Let's just try again. Okay, yeah, now it works. So you can just go back and forth and then generate new text for you. So this is like pulling from ChatGPT live. So every time you do it, it should give you a different result, basically. All right. Submissions is where you can see all of your past submissions. So you can just click here. Okay, this was my past submission, and then the other one with the lowercase was here. The timestamp with usernames and stuff like that, right? So yeah, so these are all of your past submissions that you can see. All right, so let's go to the next problem. So you can click next problem to go to the next problem, or you can just submit problem, and then it will just go to, you can click here, it goes to the next problem. So next problem, it says, okay, print 1 to 10. So now we can just use print output to use 10 times, right? So let's just do that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Okay, let's just try running that. It's always good to click run first to make sure the code is working. Okay, so the print output is that, so which is expected, and that's good, right? So let's just click submit. Right, yeah, it worked. So that's pretty much it. So you could just go through the problems one at a time, like so. And so this one is actually teaching you how to return something from a function. So if you don't understand what it is, then you can just go to solution. Okay, this problem is meant to teach you how to return and stuff like that. But basically what it means is every problem in PyPop is function based. So everything you see is like inside a function. So you can't just write something outside the function, right? So your code cannot be here up here, but you have to be inside this solution. I mean, this function inside. So, and function can return something. So otherwise a function would be pretty useless. It can do stuff, but if it doesn't return, then it's just not not ideal. So pretty much every problem, like most of the problem in PyPub would ask you to return something. So in this case, it's just asking you, okay, just return zero. It's zero, plain and simple. So let's just try running that. And then it actually says, okay, input is nothing. We'll talk about that later, but the output is zero, which means that the return was zero. So that's good. So if I just say 10, right, the output would be 10. So that's expected, right? So let's just put 0, submit, and then boom, yeah, it works. Right, so now this problem is asking like, okay, what's 2 plus 2, and then return it. So let's just do like 2 plus 2, and then you can put 4 in here, but I would not recommend it because this is just trying to teach you how to solve this using Python's like internal math, right? So now if we do this, it actually shows 4, so that's good. All right, cool. And then you can just keep going on and on and on. So let's just talk about quickly about inputs. So let's go to problems, and then let's try to solve the very first problem. Okay, so now this is asking us to do like, okay, add two numbers, right? So if the inputs are a and b, so a function has a function name, obviously, right? So this is the function name, and def is like the keyword that declares a function in Python. But if you go to other programming languages, then it would have like different stuff in front, right? So on Python, it's just def, and in JavaScript, it's like these weird symbols, on how to declare a function. So let's just go back to Python. So def is like a keyword, that is special keyword that is meant to declare a function, and then function name, and then and then you open a parentheses, and then inside that parentheses you have your inputs. So people call them parameters, inputs, properties, and stuff like that. But let's just call them inputs for now. And then you press a colon, right? So a colon is in Python. I'm not sure if you guys learned it, but a colon is a way of indicating that it is a block structure, right? So you can't just write stuff in here like this. So print this. This would not work. It will just complain. Okay, so the reason why is because you have to put like at least one space. It can be any number of spaces, but it has to be a space. Now it does work. You can print stuff, but one space is terrible. Just put tab. So ideally it should be like 4 spaces, but someone wants to do it with 2 spaces. That's fine, but I like to do it with 4 spaces. Now, since you started a block, then you have to write yours in the same block indentation, right? So this cannot be like, okay, let's just do it with 2 spaces in here, right? So this doesn't work in Python. So if you are starting a block, then every item in that block has to be on the same in the indentation, basically. So that's like the one rule of Python. In other languages, I don't think it has that. Everything is like written read line by line, or maybe with a semicolon and stuff like that. But in Python, it's like the rule is the indentation has to be the same in order to be in the same block. So okay, that's enough for functions. But this problem is just meant to teach you about inputs. Oh, it's not semicolon. So this is just asking, okay, you have 2 inputs, and then just add them together and return it. So that's pretty simple. Return a plus b, and then just run the code. And then inputs are 1 and 2, and the output is 3. Now, the important thing is, if you want to change these default inputs, you can. And then you just go here in the test case, and then let's just try 10, and then 12, right? And then click run, and then it will just give you, okay, 10 and 12 with the inputs, and then output is 22. Pretty simple. Right, so now you can just submit the code, And then this time around, it actually tests a bunch of other test cases, right? So you can all see all the test cases to make sure your code is working. So if you see the first test case is just 1 and 2, the expected result is 3. Our code gave us 3, which is good, which is why we have green check mark, right? And then the inputs are 99 and 2. The expected output is 101, and then the actual output, that when we wrote the code, is 101, so that's just good. Let's just try like adding +1 in here, see if that works. So if you run it, it will tell you, okay, it's 23 because I've added 1, right? But if I click submit, then it's not gonna work because all the inputs are different. I mean, sorry, outputs are different than the expected. So that's why it's not working. All right, so let's just delete this, submit. Now it's working pretty well. Cool, all right. So now we learned about the returns, the inputs. That's like the basic idea behind a function. So you're off to a very good start. And then if you've just followed the paths, let's just go to the learning the basics path, right? And then click all the, go through all the problems. That's going to be great. It is structured. I've authored most of the problems in here, above like 70% of the problems here. So I try to make the solution as meaningful as it can. So if you have any feedback, please let me know. I'm on Discord. So you can just scroll to the homepage and then click here to join our Discord, and then just report any bugs to me. And I'm always there, so I'm pretty responsive. Also, the thing that I didn't learn until very later on is that human minds, right? They forget stuff very easily, but I think it has an advantage, right? So forgetting things is like sometimes makes life harder, but sometimes it's great. It means that you're filtering out important information so that you don't have to memorize everything that you ever hear and learn, right? But to reinforce your learning, you have to review or you have to practice, right? So that's why I've created this review section right here. So in review, what it does is it utilizes a science called spaced repetition method. So what it is you basically solve a problem, and then it will give you a date of like when do you have to review that problem. So if you solve the problem just now, it will show up on the upcoming review page. So I think I've solved a bunch of these problems yesterday. So it's just saying, okay, you can review these in like 5 days or 4 days and stuff like that. So I can just sort them and then add two numbers. This is I have to review it in 11 hours. In return 0, I have to review it in 20 hours, right? So as you solve these problems again and again after the review date has come, the space, like the 4 days and stuff like that, it will keep on increasing if you successfully solve the problem without looking at the solution. If you looked at the solution, that means it's like you couldn't solve it, right? You couldn't solve it on your own, but after you looking at the solution, you did. So that's why it will ask you to repeat that problem 20 hours from now. So, and then if you successfully hit that without looking at the solution, that's great. The space will keep on increasing. There's actually a formula for that, and I don't want to get too much details into it, but it's called like SM2 method of learning. So now this will show you, okay, so these are all the problems that I need to review. I have to review these now. So let's just try and review this one, right? So add 3 numbers. Okay, let's just try solving this problem. It's just simple, like adding 3 numbers together. So let's just click run. It's 6, that's great. Submit, that's great. Okay, so now let's go back to the review. And then the 3 problems is, add 3 numbers is gone from the review section. But if you click on the upcoming review, it says, okay, you can review it in 5 days. Which is because I didn't look at the solution. It was 20 hours before, now it's 5 days now, and then it will keep on increasing after if you solve it after 5 days, basically. So that's one neat thing about this site. It has a built-in review tool, basically. So a lot of other sites don't have this at all. And then I'm really glad I've implemented this, and then hopefully we'll add a lot of nuance to the site. And it will help you a lot, I believe. Okay, so let's look at, so you don't have to worry about these 2 tabs. This is just for admins, like add problem, add path, so you wouldn't see it, so just ignore these 2. And let's go to the leaderboard page. Leaderboard page is just, top 100 users with the most score. Now, a score is calculated based on number of things, not number of things, I guess. So if you solve a problem, that's 1 score. But if you solve it solve the same problem in a different language, that's also one score. So we have 5 languages right now, right? So we have C++, C Sharp, JavaScript, Java, and Python. So if you solve like one problem in the 5 different languages, that's 5 points. So now we have about 300 problems, right? So that means the maximum score is 1500. That is achievable. No, no one has achieved 500 yet, but it is possible to do so. That's pretty much it. And then let's go to the problems page. Now, problems page is where you can see all the problems in here. So if you go to the paths, actually, the paths don't have all the problems if you union them. So basically, if you follow these paths and then solve every problem, you will still be missing a few. So I will organize the problems later, but there are some problems that doesn't fit any of these paths, basically. So that's why it's not there. So you can search for problems in here. You can sort them by like status. So this means it's a wrong answer. You can submit the right answer after that. And then to do means you haven't tried it yet. So you haven't submitted anything yet. And then you can sort by difficulty. Difficulty is like I haven't added like hard problems yet. So if you have seen other like problem solving sites like LeetCode, then a hard difficulty would be like full 5 circles. But we just have like medium difficulty problems right now. The maximum difficulty is that. And then you can sort them by IDs, just like that. All right. That's much. That's about it. That's pretty much about it for the problems page. And then the filtering function, it works really great too. So like add, and then it will just show all the problems with add keyword, and then it has pagination. So let's just try like go to the next page, right? And then if you copy this URL and then send it to someone else, it is actually storing this state. So that's pretty cool. So you don't have to worry about losing this state of this page. And also it stores a filter as well. So that's pretty cool. Now let's go to the profile page. So we have on the top right, after you log in, you'll see your profile page. And then you would see this kind of thing. So this grid is actually showing, okay, how much correct submissions you did over the past, year or so. And then this will show you, okay, how many problems did I solve out of the 300? So I'm about like 88% done. You can change your username with this. And then you can change your country with this. Just search your country and then change it. So and then it will show up on your leaderboard basically. And then if you click on your submissions, this will give you all of your submissions. So I've like submitted like 1,000, right? So you can go through all the submission history of yourself. And then likes is like the list of problems that you liked. So if you have trouble with some problem, you can just like it and then come back to it later. So it's just your own personal list kind of thing, right? It's just like on YouTube, you can see all the liked videos of yourself. And then my problems is you don't have to worry about it. This is just the problems that I authored, so you wouldn't see it. It's only for authors. All right, I think that's pretty much it about everything else. I don't think I've missed anything. Oh yeah, so you can click on the YouTube icon. I post updates regularly there about the site's progress. But if you join the Discord, and I will also give plenty of updates every time I made a significant change. So after this, so I just added C Sharp recently, like just yesterday. So after this, I am planning to add a bunch of social features to be able to like collaborate with each other and stuff like that. And that's going to be great because all the other coding platforms, they don't have that. So that's going to be like our edge against them. Because I want this site to be able to collaborate with each other, chat with each other, and then help each other and stuff like that. So that's going to be pretty cool. And social aspect is pretty important. So yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, doubts, comments, any feature requests, bugs, anything that you want to share, just join Discord, chat with me, and I'm sure Professor will give you my email as well. So that's also possible. And yeah, I think I've covered everything pretty much. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, I guess you can also check out other people's profiles. Yeah, I haven't covered that. So likes. Oh, I think there's a bug actually. All right, this is a bug. I will fix that. This like should not be there. I should hide this. Cool. All right. That's all, folks. So yeah, just let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that. And have fun doing it. And then hopefully this will give you plenty of opportunity to practice, to learn, right? And then if you don't understand it, just go to the solutions tab. It should give you a very, very clear picture of how to do the problem. So like, okay, let's just take this example, right? So it has two solutions, and one like is like a newbie solution that beginners would do, and then the second is like basically like what you should be doing. And then I indicated like, okay, you should be doing this instead of that, blah blah blah. Like all the written stuff is really essential to understand. I guess I haven't talked about this very much. Okay, so one of the reasons I created this site is because a lot of other coding platforms, they do have problems, but one of the problems is like they're not organized. They're terrible with their organization. They don't separate them by topics, by difficulty and stuff like that. So it needs to be organized by difficulty, and also it needs to be ramping up towards one like problem, right? So the difficulty, it just goes up very high on other platforms. So let's just take one problem as an example. So let's just go here. Fence post 1, 2. Wait, sorry. Yeah, let's go through here. Draw stars 1, 2, 7. So this is like a chain problem that you solve one by one, and then it gets harder as you go on. So the draw star, and then it's asking you to just draw, like print out 5 stars, right? So let's just try that. Print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now it works. Let's just click submit. All right, that's good. That's good. And then you go to the next problem, and then it asks you, okay, so now it has an input. And then based on the input, you print out that many stars. So it gets difficult as you go on. So I would highly suggest following the path and then clicking next. Otherwise, it's not going to be organized. If you just solve from the problems, it's just going to be random, right? So if you follow the path, it just gets it just gets much easier to solve the problem because it's slowly building up towards something. So if you go on, so draw stars is like that, and then if you go on and on, it will just get significantly harder. And then I think on the draw 7, okay, so the last problem, like the 7th problem, it's asking you to draw this, and it's building up to that. So that's pretty cool part. And I've basically designed all these problems myself, right? So I had to keep that in mind. All right, that's one really good part about this platform, I would say. I think that's about it. All right, so if you have any questions, concerns, just reach out to me, and I'll be happy to talk to you. Bye bye.